Well, everybody, we're just in the pre-show, so good morning. Talking today about a very important topic, which are 7 tips to bring you success and joy this fall. Fall is almost here. I know I'd rather not even think about it, especially if you're a young person. You probably feel the same way, but here it comes in a few weeks. Maybe it's this week, maybe it's just still 3-4 weeks away, but regardless, we're all in the middle of getting ready. So we're going to be talking about 7 tips so that you have a successful fall, whether you are someone in school or you are out of school, you're just working, you're a parent. Hopefully these tips will bring you perspective and joy. So in about 15 seconds or so, we're going to be going live here talking about these amazing tips. Invite your friends, let everybody know. Hopefully this will be a great episode for you. So I encourage you to check this out in just a few seconds. So here we go. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trig Podcast of Joy and GOZO TV, the David Trigg Show. GOZO for the whole family. How are you guys? Welcome to this awesome episode. Talking to you today about a very important topic, about 7 tips to get you ready for the fall. So leave me in the comments below a question, or the answer to this question is, what are you doing to get ready? Or what is your routine to get ready for the fall? You might depend, it obviously depends on if you're a parent, you're maybe doing some shopping. If you're a young person in your teens, you're thinking about, well, you're actually trying to ignore the fall. You might be a young adult, someone in your 20s or 30s. Maybe for you, it's just traffic. Oh no, here comes traffic. You might be just an adult like me. And for you, it's just the same old, right? Nothing has changed except for more people on the roads. Leave me a comment below. Let me know whether you're here on Facebook Live or on Periscope. Make sure you press those 3 buttons and you share this episode. If you're on YouTube, make sure that you leave me a comment. We will get to the comments here in just a second. But the question is, how do you approach the fall? Or how do you feel about the fall? What do you do to get ready? Leave me a comment below, and I'm going to be checking out all of your comments here on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, as well as on Periscope. Welcome. And so let's get right into the content, okay? These are 7 tips that I believe will help you to get ready for this fall, no matter who you are. So number 1, very important tip here. Get the camera here to reset here in a second. So here we go. So here are the 7 tips to give you joy and perspective this fall. So first is to put God first in your life, because to put God first is actually going to give you joy. It's going to give you a perspective, and especially do it now while you're young. And even if you're not young, you're young at heart. Put God first. And so I want to take you to a very important passage that I'm using as a foundation here this morning out of Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Very awesome passage. And so here it is. It says, honor and enjoy your Creator while you're still young, before the years take their toll and your vigor wanes, before your vision dims and the world blurs and the winter years keep you close to the fire. And so here, this passage, it's so beautiful. It's not exactly the most cheery passage because it is talking about the end of life. But I feel like to actually start the fall thinking of the end of your life is the best thing you can do. And not only to think of it in terms of dying or death or illness, but actually in terms of putting God first in your life now, before you run out of time. I think that most of us, no matter how old we are, we think, I have all year. I am going to be living and being amazing and doing whatever I want for the rest of my life. But I love the wisdom of this passage. It says, put God first now, before it's too late. Don't wait till you're on your deathbed. Don't wait till you're in the middle of this terrible accident or you're feeling depressed. Do it now. Put God first. So as you're thinking of the fall and you're shopping and you're doing all these things, don't leave God out. So now, how do you put God first? Well, it's simple. Just simply do a prayer. Say, God, as I go into work again or back to school, help me. Help me to be strong. Help me to put you first. Help me to read my Bible. Maybe there's a simple verse. I read Psalm 27 all the time where it says, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And just those simple things will really help you make sure that God is number one in your life. So that's number one. Number 2, second tip. These are the 7 tips to how to have an awesome and powerful fall. Number 2, it's keep the end in mind. Ask yourself, who do I want to be when I'm 20, when I'm 40, when I'm 55, when I'm 75, when I'm 95? And so, back to this passage. This passage, I love it because it tells us, keep the end in mind. Again, these are not like just, hey, go and get the latest sales on backpacks and clothes. Those are important things. But I wanted to give you these tips that are actually a little bit bigger picture. And so that's why this idea of keeping the end in mind is so important. Think about the reality, not that you're dying. I mean, obviously, most of us are pretty healthy and we want to live forever. But I think keeping the end in mind gives you perspective. It helps you slow down. Why are you in such a hurry? Why are you in such a mad rush to accomplish all the things you want to accomplish today, this fall? Give yourself time. Realize that this is a marathon, not a sprint. So you're going back to school. Maybe you have another couple of years left in high school and college. Maybe you're doing your graduate work. Take your time. Make sure that you tend to your health, to exercise, to fitness, to friendships. We'll get to some of these things here in a second. Keep the end in mind. I remember Steve Jobs in one of his most famous speeches that I think he gave while he already had pancreatic cancer, or maybe he hadn't yet found out. But he talked about the end. Remember? Have you seen that talk at Stanford University that he gave maybe, 10 years ago? It's one of the most popular talks on YouTube ever. Why? Because he talks about the end. Make sure that you think about the fact that we don't have all day, that we don't have a guarantee. And it's not to be morbid, it's just simply to give you perspective. So that not to rush, not to like, oh, I need to go crazy and do everything. Instead, it's just to keep going. Because some people, they wait around. I meet a lot of young people, including myself, not so young, but this is human nature. We just wait around. Do you feel like you wasted time this summer? Maybe you just slept in one too many times. Maybe you didn't accomplish as much of the eternal stuff as you wish you had. Keep the end in mind. Remember that whether it's illness or maybe it's the age of our parents, people around us we're all getting older. Like my favorite my favorite episode from the Cosby Show is when, what was it? I forget his name. Told Claire, he said, "Claire, we're old." And I love that passage. I tell my wife that all the time, or that episode, that scene, because it is true. Now, you might be 15 and you're thinking, I'm not old. No, of course you're not. But just remember to keep the end in mind. It may not be the end of your life. It may just be that this next year will end. High school will end. This stress that you're feeling will pass. No sacrifice is forever. Trust God. Put Him first. Keep the end in mind. Things will soon change for you. The end is coming. Number 3. So I want to just check the comments here really quick. Just saying hello to all the people here on Periscope, on YouTube Live. If you want to leave me a comment, please do. I think I have a comment cam here. Let's see if it shows up here really well. There it is. So there's a live chat. We don't have anybody at this moment, but also on the left, if you see that, there's also another chat where you can leave me a comment on YouTube, on Periscope, or on Facebook. Feel free to always jump into the chat and leave me a comment right there. So let's get back to these tips. So that was number 2. Keep that in mind. Number 3, keep moving towards your goal. Opportunities go away quickly. Keep moving towards your goal. Very related to this last thing that I just said. Now, notice here what the passage says here. He goes back to this idea of the end and keeping the end in mind. He says, it's all smoke, nothing but smoke. The wise man says, everything is smoke. So what is he saying? He's saying things come and go. Opportunities that you had today may not be there tomorrow. Sometimes I think no matter how old we are, young people, parents, older people, we think, oh, well, I have time to go back to church. I'll help those kids later. When I'm done, I'm tired. I'll get to that, go help that neighbor across the street when my kids are older, or when my kids are out of the house, or when I have more money. Or come on, I'm only 15, or I'm 25, I'm 28. I don't have time. I need to just focus on my job and my girlfriend and my career. Well, it might be time for you to actually move on things. Keep moving towards those goals. Life is but a vapor. It does come and go so quickly. You know, for me, I still have to finish my master's degree. I've been in school for the last 20 years, I feel. And sometimes, if I can be honest, I'll think, I've got time. I mean, I know everything. Come on, what is that going to do? Well, not only is it good for my career and for my future, but it's good for my own soul. Plus, who knows what may happen in 2017 or in 2018? Financially, maybe the school will burn down. Actually, the school where I'm at, it's one of the major schools here in the area. But if they're going through a lot of changes and cuts, so what if your program gets cut and now you're left out in the cold? It may not be in school, but it may be in your fitness goals. You might think, I'm gaining some weight and nothing fits anymore and I feel terrible and I don't feel very healthy, but I'll do it in the fall. I'll do it in the spring of next year. I'll do it next summer. And that day never comes. Don't wait. Keep moving. Don't rush. Don't go crazy, but keep moving towards your goals, because as this wise man, the wisest man ever, Solomon, who wrote Ecclesiastes, says, life is a vapor. It comes and goes. So keep moving. Number 4, these are 7 tips for a successful and joy-filled fall. Are you having fun yet? All right. I hope so. Number 4 is make sure that you live out your God-given adventure and that you take God-sized risks in life. Many people today, they are getting ready to go back to work, but they're getting ready to go back to the same old thing. Same job, same annoying friend, same annoying person at work or at school. You're still stuck. Same old habits. Nothing is changing. It's just more of the same thing. Make sure that this fall you ask yourself, how can I live out my God-given adventure? What is the adventure that I'm supposed to be on? For example, for me, I've wanted to change a church like where I'm at now for years. God had called me to do what I'm doing now maybe 20 years ago. And I had been just sort of kind of doing this and that and hum and hawing and whatever, not really trusting God in the way that I knew I needed to. Until the last 5 years or so, I began to say, Lord, I need to trust you at a next level, at a higher level, and actually accomplish your God-given adventure for me. Not just what I want, not just, well, here's what I want to do, but actually to say, Lord, you've been putting these things in my life for a very long time. And guess what? If it's something that scares you to death, that's where God normally is. God is never going to give you something that is basically you size or man size. He's always going to give you a God-given adventure. That's why I call it a God-given adventure, a God-sized risk. Because there are risks that people take that are just selfish. I'm going to go and do this and that and take this job or go out with this person. And they are risky things, but they're not God-given adventures or God-given risks. If you are afraid of doing something, especially that helps people and that fulfills what God's put in your heart, then you know that that's the right thing to do. Keep moving towards God's goals. Live out your God-given adventure. Ask yourself, what is that adventure that I'm supposed to be living on? It might be that over time you need to begin to move towards that. Maybe not right away, maybe not tomorrow, but in the next few months, in the next few years, keep moving towards that dream that God's given you to start that business, to become a full-time pastor, to help those kids and mentor them, to help animals, or to go maybe even overseas and do something great. It might be that you're at home just simply taking care of business at home. Whatever that God-given adventure is, make sure that you follow that this fall. That's number 4. Number 5, make better friends or go deeper with the friends that you have. Friendships are, to me, very important. And I am not really great at friendships. I often don't take time to pursue them or to keep them going or to develop even new ones. But I've realized that without friendships, really, we all just fade away into oblivion and into loneliness. Make sure that this fall amidst all of the goals that you have to accomplish this and to get good grades and to be the best employee ever, that you are making better friendships. Eliminate the friendships that aren't that great. Get clear, make a list of those friendships and say, these two people, yeah, I don't need them in my life anymore. And then these two people or these three people, they are there for me, aren't they? They have been in my life, and maybe it's time for me to pursue them. A mistake that people often make is they're waiting for somebody else to say, hey, here I am. I'm going to just bring you cookies and donuts and milk and cookies, and I'm going to just be here for you. Man, I wish that actually. I would love that to happen, for that to happen every day. But sometimes, most of the times, it is you and I who have to go out of our way to go and get those friends into our lives. Now, if that friend reciprocates your love and your friendship, then great. If he or she doesn't reciprocate that, then you have to move on. If it's a romantic relationship that you're pursuing or that you're already in, evaluate. I mean, come on, has it been already 5 years and you're still trying to figure things out? If things are not moving forward, they are moving backwards. There is no middle ground with relationships. They are either moving forward or they're moving backwards. And most of the time, what I have found with a lot of younger people is that things are moving backwards, but they're afraid to be alone. They're afraid to make that tough call. Make the tough call. Make sure that you have friendships that are rejuvenating you, that are giving you gozo, that are giving you joy, that are filling your life with peace, with hope, with kindness, that are helping you actually worship God and know Him better, that are people in your life that are helping you to accomplish your dreams. Make sure that you're pursuing those positive friends, eliminating negative friendships, no matter how painful it is. Like my grandma always said, it's better to be alone than to be with the wrong people. So make better friends. Number 5. Number 6, change everything. If you want to see radical change in your life, you literally have to change everything in your life. It's that simple. You can't accomplish your fitness goals or your educational goals if you keep doing the same old thing over and over again. You actually have to change your habits. You know that thing that you've always wanted to do, write that book or help those neighbors across the street? It actually means you're going to have to wake up at 7 a.m. instead of 8:30. It may mean that you, after work, you have to go across the street to go see that friend at 5 o'clock when you want to just come home and watch TV, or if you get home from school at 3:30, you just want to go home and just do your thing. It will actually mean that you have to stay after school and go and hang out with some friends, or go and help somebody else or volunteer at your church. For you to actually see change in your life, this is so silly, but it just needs to be said. You have to change your habits. So for example, I've always wanted to get back into shape. It's been 10 years. I've been trying, but failing. Up and down, up and down. My weight just goes up and down. Finally, about a month ago, I changed my habits. I got a personal trainer who gets here at 6:45 a.m. Yes, a.m. on Friday mornings when I want to be sleeping in. It's my day off. And yet I work out with her. She's here. She gets me in gear. And it's happening. I'm moving. It's been 3-4 weeks and I feel amazing. I had to change my habits. I literally had to do something differently. If I was just to simply keep the same routines, I would have the same results. The same thing for you. You want to see your marriage improve? You're going to have to go to that class and register and pay the money and get up and go and stop watching TV, or your kids are a mess or whatever. You're going to have to actually change your habits, change the way you're doing things. Change will never happen unless you change your habits. There is no other way to actually see success in your life unless you literally get out of that mess, get rid of that relationship, get out of that debt, start spending less money, stop doing the things that have gotten you into that mess to begin with. And as you begin to do that, then you will really begin to see your life change and your joy increase. So that is number 6. Change everything if you want to see radical change in everything. And then the last thing, and I think this is really the most important of them all, and that is to let go of material things. Let go of the material things, because nothing lasts forever. Again, back to the passage. It says here in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, what I read earlier. It says, the body is put back in the same ground it came from. The spirit returns to God who first breathed it. It's all smoke, nothing but smoke. The wise man says everything is smoke. It's kind of a morbid passage. I told you this is not the cheeriest passage, but it's good to think about the end when we're starting to fall. What the wisest man here says is that the body is going to go back to the ground. The spirit is going to go back to the Creator. And all these material things that you and I work so hard for, even if you're not materialistic, all of us have things and we want more things. All of that is going to end. It's going to go back to where it came from, to a trash pile outside of town. It says here, the wisest man, everything is smoke. It's nothing but smoke. Now, what is smoke if you think about it? Well, they say that where there's smoke, there's a fire. If the things in your life are creating noise, you're literally like coughing, smoke makes you cough. Smoke kills you. Smoke is dangerous. It has CO2 and all these terrible oxidants and poisonous gas. Smoke will kill you. So if you feel like your life is not as healthy as you wish it would be, look at the smoke in your life. It might be that you're working so hard to love somebody and maybe they're not the right person. There's smoke. Look for the fire. The fire is your choice to be in that relationship. You might be stressing out every night. You're not sleeping well. You're just struggling to just even handle all the things in your life, your family, your marriage, your pet, your debt, your life, your body. There's smoke everywhere. You're coughing up a storm. Where's the fire? The fire is that you're still in that relationship, that you're still in that mess. You're living still in that same neighborhood, that same house, when you know you need to be getting out of there. Look to the smoke, because where there's smoke, there's fire. Get rid of those things that just pass you by. Because as I said, it's all going to end. Let go of those material things. Let go. And specifically, I wanted to mention, sometimes for most of us, the smoke that we feel, or the smoke that is that's causing us to choke, is the smoke of wanting more things. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's not you. But I guess what? Your friend, your mom, your parent, your tío, your abuelito, your amigo, your prima, they are looking for more things. They may not say it. In fact, they might say the opposite, but their actions is what matters. They're living their lives just wanting to get the next thing. I've been really challenged in this lately. I think it was a podcast or maybe someone that I actually saw in the hospital. It may have been someone I visited in the hospital. I went to see someone recently, and I forget exactly who it was or how it happened. But someone said to me, maybe it was in the hospital, maybe it was even a nurse. Someone said to me something like, it's all going to end. None of this stuff really matters. All of our houses and cars, and even if you buy your clothes at the Goodwill, it's still stuff. It's still material things. For me, cameras and gear and whatever, right? And I don't know what happened. Again, I'm trying to remember exactly what this was, but I remember leaving that, let's say that hospital room, thinking, what am I doing with my life? Am I really investing time on things that last, on things that matter? Or am I investing most of my time trying to build my little kingdom? Now, it may not be that you love things, but you want to be right. That could be just as materialistic as anything. Meaning, you're always pursuing to be right, to be understood, for everybody else to do it your way. You may not be into that, but you might be into complaining and blaming other people. You might do it in a passive-aggressive way. Okay, you don't say it out loud. Maybe you're not a yeller, but internally, people's actions are killing your soul. You have to let go of that. It's not just material things. Whatever is possessing you is the point here. Whatever is getting a hold of your heart and causing you to stray away from God's peace, that's the thing that this passage is saying. It's a vapor. It's smoke. It's actually causing you to choke. Get clear on that thing that is choking the life out of you. And whatever that is, spit it out. Just simply put a mask on and say, I don't want to deal with that anymore. You may not be able to do that today or next week, but take those steps. Get clear on that. Make sure that your vision board on your wall, I have it on my wall. For some, it may be on a piece of paper or on an app. Make sure that your vision board, what? You don't have a vision board? What are you doing? You have to have a vision board. That'll be another episode. Make sure that on your vision board, you put all of these things clearly, things to get rid of and things to pursue. And most of all, as I said, use these tips, pursue God, pursue joy, pursue friendships, make sure that you eliminate material things, make sure that you continue to care for the poor, for the elderly, for the needy, for those that are in need of love and grace. So I hope that these 7 tips on this beautiful day have helped you and can give you some hope on what to do. I wanted to go back here to the live cam, to the chat cam, and just make sure that we haven't missed any comments. We don't have a lot at this moment. I know it's early, but as always, I want to just invite you and encourage you to chat below, to put your comments below. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you're feeling. How are you doing this fall? How are you processing here the next few weeks as you transition back? And I know that not everyone's going back to school, but guess what? Someone in your family is. And if anything, you're going to see the traffic just triple, quadruple over the next few weeks. So I think in closing, I'd like to simply just say how thankful I am, how excited I am to always have these moments with you. I want to thank you for being here. And I also want to give you just a few announcements. This Sunday, which is August the 13th at 3 p.m. here in the Long Beach, California, GOZO Studios, I'm going to be hosting, together with my wife, a free workshop called Love is Possible. Love is possible. If you might be someone who's in a complicated relationship and you're like, I don't think this is possible anymore, you may want to come to this workshop. You might be someone who's married and you've been at it for 5 or 8 or 10, 20 years, and you just want to learn some new tips from us. Love is possible. This is for you. You're a single person. You're like, I've given up on love. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't want one. I don't want a girlfriend. I don't want to deal with that anymore. Too high maintenance, right? And you may need some guidance. Come to the workshop. Love is possible. It's free this Sunday, the 13th. To register, just simply go to lifeofgozo.com/love-is-possible. Life of GOZO, that's GOZO. GOZO, by the way, means joy in Spanish. lifeofgozo.com/love-is-possible and register for this weekend's celebration of love, the Love is Possible workshop together with my wife, Rochelle. I'm so pumped about that. So thank you again, everybody, for your love, your support, for being here. Thank you for always just being here, hanging out. Make sure that you share this video with your friends. Let everybody know about GOZO TV and the David Trigg Show. We're here Monday through Friday. Sometimes it's just Mondays and Fridays, 9 a.m. or so. Depends on my schedule and my life and my week. The summer's been a little bit more fluid, but as we get back in the fall, speaking of that, we're going to have a more consistent schedule. But for now, make sure that you come back here maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, for the Spanish edition of this show called Vida Gozo con David Trigueros, talking about giving you hope and joy in everyday life. So thank you again, everybody, for your awesome, awesome love. I am so thankful for you. Have a great rest of this day. Have a great rest of this week. Have a great rest of this month. And I will see you next time. Adios.